Hello, this is Stephen Dupree of NowEnergetics.com, based on YUEN Method. Welcome to my channel. I'll do my best impression of Yoda. Answers you seek, strong or weak? That's about as good as I could do it, but basically this is another article I wrote, kind of a funny article on how you test for, how you use energetic testing, basically, and to try to keep it simple, because people that look at this method are always looking for more complications in the method. There's got to be more to it than that. It can't just be strong and weak. And really, when you think about it, you're really just looking for weakness. So you're kind of only looking for one thing. And people don't like that. You know, a lot of folks that have taken a lot of training in other modalities, they don't like something that's as simple. It just goes against kind of the Western philosophy that everything we do is about kind of dissecting complexity into simplicity. They don't want to look at something that's already this simple, right? They're looking for something more complicated as a measure of truth, rather than taking something that actually works and works quickly and is very, very simple. So that's what we want to talk about today. And as Dr. Yuan has got a great quote here, we want to raise the bar for all of humanity. When every human being has insight, when the whole human race will change. This is the real technology, not the science that people talk about that really isn't science because it has no results. So that's kind of been his broken record for 50 years is you talk is cheap. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have. If you don't get any results, just step aside. You know, you're not even, nobody should be listening to you if you don't get any results, right? That's basically the bottom line. So whether we do these things simply and people don't think that they should actually work, well, the fact is they do work. So that's the way it is, you know, so we go with that. We go with what works. So, and we want to use this energetic testing because we know it's so much faster than other ways of getting answers. You know, some people have very good insight, but we have a way of getting answers very, very quickly. And we don't apologize for having these answers very quickly. Some people, it actually scares them to get answers as quickly, and they kind of want to move on to something else that has more to it, you know, because when you think about it, there's not really a lot to strong and weak. But when you try to complicate it, then you can make it be a lot to it, you know, because you're confusing the issue. So we want to keep things simple. We've always want to keep things simple. And I wish my cursor would work here. No problem, my cursor. Let's try this. It didn't work last time. So we always think in the Western world, especially, that there are answers hidden in complexity. We talked about this earlier. And so much of our lives and our schooling is about kind of deconstruction of things. And in this case here, we're looking for simplicity right off the bat. So we have to turn our thinking around that we can get these answers in a very simple way, in a very quick way, without a lot of fanfare. Okay. And one of his great quotes is, just delete the stupid thing, you know? So basically, don't talk about it. You know, once you get the weakness, just delete the stupid thing, you know? So we so want to get into a discussion about it. Everybody wants to talk about something for 10 minutes. You know, you could clear 1 trillion things in 10 minutes, you know? So you don't have, I feel like I don't want to have any time to do this overthinking, overanalyze, overconceptualize, you know, just wasting your time. You know, you got other things to do. You get 24 hours in a day, and you know, why waste your time with things that just waste time, basically. So and a lot of these folks that are looking for complexity, they end up reaching for the most scant things to plant their, you know, plant their truth into, and it's usually never correct, right? They never get the right answer, but they'll plant into just about anything that sounds logical, even if it's completely wrong. And especially the herd mentality now with the sciences, they want, you know, they want to consensus is sort of the measure of truth, right? So that's the new measure of truth, is consensus. So we don't want to look at truth as some measure of consensus. We either have the right answer or we don't have the right answer, right? So, and the other thing is that there's always this notion of being afraid not to have an answer. So you come up with any answer just to have an answer, right? Even very educated people that come up with an answer, it's not the right answer, right? So if you don't use your insight, you're not going to have the right answer. That's basically the bottom line. So we want to get really good at energetic testing. We want to get really good at numerical profiling. We want to get more experiences of doing this work so we get better and better at it. And it's not like learning kind of experience where we want to experience these things first, and then we can, dissect it later. We don't want to dissect it first. That's the learning anchor. That's the way we learn things. We create all these roadblocks actually getting to, some resolution to something. So that's what this kind of paragraph is all about. So we want to lasso things as quickly as possible, delete all the cumulative effects in 1 second, and then move on. So one of the other things that Dr. Yuen talks about too is that the wrong answers are not benign. So we actually can do a clearing of wrong answers. Sometimes that's a misinterpretation, could be someone not being able to notice what's the same or not the same. Something could come up just having the wrong answer. You can have the wrong answer so many times that you have a cumulative effect of that as 1,000,000% or beyond infinite to you, because you've gotten so many wrong answers, you never get a right answer. So there's a weight of wrong answers that we often can unburden someone with one single clearing that will do amazing things for that person, because it goes all the way back through their timeline, all the way back to their lifetime, right? It clears all that kind of fog of wrong answers. And they can actually, by having that many wrong answers, it's pretty hard to get a right answer, because you get so much of that wrong answer energy. That's all you're going to attract at that point. So you get, you're going to have people around you always giving you wrong answers, that sort of thing. So you want to clear it for many different reasons, right? So let's see here. So we have cumulative effects that grow with wrong answers. That's important. That's why we want to delete all the wrong answers as a group. We want to profile it, profile the cumulative effect of that, and delete that. And that's a very precise deletion for us. And, some of the things we clear most often, wrong answer effects, cumulative effects of things from the past, from people, from our own, from others influencing us, the collective knowledge, collective influence. We talk about that all the time, collective influence. So, and also psychic energy, out in the field of people with their own energy of a certain way of thinking in a collective, that could be affecting us too, very, very strongly. And if we have even a thought of that, we could resonate with that and pull that energy in. And then, now we have to deal with it, right? So we want to be as neutral as possible to the psychic energy, and we want to clear it when we need to clear it. And one of the other things they talk about here is Ward Cunningham's law, which is, the way to get a right answer on the internet is to not to pose the question, but to pose the wrong answer. Everyone will want to correct you, right? So if you say something wrong, everyone wants to correct you. If you just want to put a question out there, no one's going to answer it, right? So just put the wrong answer, put the question with a wrong answer, and you'll get the right answer, because people will correct you. Well, in this case here, most people have the wrong answer. We're here to be the Ward Cunningham correction, right? So we're going to correct the answer that people have the wrong answer. We're going to give them the right answer. In this method, we try to give them the right answer, right? We don't try. There's do or do not. There is no try, right? That's Yoda. So so when others, okay, so we want to know, and the reason why we do this work and the way we do energetic testing is we want to be able to ferret out pretty quickly whether something's not in the right direction, right? If it doesn't go weak, there's no use going down that road. That's a dead end, right? So we know right away in a millisecond that if it tests strong, you're moving on and you're throwing it out immediately, right? You're not even going to reach back for it. A lot of people try to reach back for it. They throw it out, and they're pretty good at throwing it out, but then they turn around, they reach back for it. So make sure you throw it out and you don't turn around and look back for it. So that's a pretty common block for new folks in the method. So we don't want to have any sentiments about it. And kind of talking about this, that people have a lot of sentiments about throwing things away. So as you toss away things that are strong, you don't want to have any sentiments about leaving something behind and turning around and trying to pick it up again. So that's what this paragraph is kind of about, this poverty-stricken energy and things like that. It's going to make it hard for you to attract the right answer if you're always worried about holding on to the wrong answers too, right? You won't let them go. So you want to immediately push those aside. So the other thing that we look at sometimes is something we call the personal profile. And it's these 5 things: sentiments, imprints, memories, roles, and identities. It's kind of an interesting area of clearing. Sentiments are about holding on to things because of thinking of things that, oh, gee, what could have been, what might have been. So people have these sentiments about something, and Dr. Yuen talks about that often. Sentimental sadness, right? Well, you can have sentimental sadness, you can have sentimental frustration, you have sentimental anger. Sentimental sadness comes up the most when something gets taken away. But of course, some people get angry when something gets taken away. So you could have a sentimental anger. So it's not just one thing. But that's what this is all about. Sentiments. Imprints is the programming that we have in us that's running in the background in our unconscious and our subconscious. And it's the usual things, the can'ts, the shouldn'ts, the mustn'ts, that type of thing. So sometimes those come from us, sometimes from their ancestors, sometimes from collective humanity, collective cultural. So we, collective religious. So we need to be able to delete those things when they come up. And then any kind of memory, sometimes we have memories that imprint into our physical, being. So we need to be able to do these deletions. Any kind of memories that, there's many different types. I just list a few types here: the painful memories, recycled memories, that sort of thing. And then a role is sort of the expected behavior of a certain type of person, a spouse, a father, a blue collar worker, a mother, that type of thing. So there can be weaknesses related to roles in your personal profile. And also this other similar thing called identities. What type of person are you? Are you, an athlete, a nerd, somebody who's responsible, I'm the clumsy one in the family. So you kind of retract that energy because you have that story about yourself. That's not really the right story. That clumsiness could have come from anywhere. Most of the time you've already strengthened it. So that's not the story, right? It's coming from some other person, some other lifetime, that type of thing. So the other part of this, bottom part of this, I don't know why I included this, but I'm Asian myself and Dr. Yuen's Chinese, and it just seems like part of the ability to get answers and to throw out the things that are strong, you have to have neutrality. And I think folks that have Asian ancestry are more wired, what I call wired for neutrality. I mean, their makeup is more wired for neutrality, so it just makes it a little bit easier for those folks to learn this method and to be more of an observer of the energetic things that we do, let's say. And so that gives us, but anyone can do this work. So we're not going to say that nobody can do this. There's certain people that can't do this work. So let's just, so that's about all there is with this particular section. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So let's close it off.